Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 8th of March 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's afternoon session where we're just going to have a quick look at the markets, what's happening with them right now, how to kind of look at them for next week, or how to position ourselves for next week. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, right, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now, before we go ahead with the main ones that I wanted to touch on in this session, quick update on the CAC 40 that I was talking about this morning on our Traders Espresso. And basically you can see that it continues to travel nicely to the downside according to the plan here. And yep, we are still aiming for this lower bound of the rising channel formation. It's not far from it already, so let's see if it actually manages to reach that today, or is this something going to be for next week. But still, just wanted to quickly update you on that. This is, it seems that this is where the index is heading to. Of course, the big question here, will this lower bound act as a nice area of support, and we'll see a rebound from it and then push higher, or actually is this going to be the time when we'll see a break of this one and a move lower? So but of course, this is something to continue monitoring. I just wanted to kind of let you know what's happening with this one that we've talked about, that I've talked about this morning. Okay. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, looking at this index yesterday, of course, it had a bit of a sell-off, pushed lower, and in one of my videos where I was covering the Dow, I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this area here around the 25,465 level, which kind of is not far from the lows of the 14th of February, and also marked by the highs, near the highs of the 6th of February. So of course, as you also are aware, if you follow the news, we had the NFPs, the employment figures from the United States. All numbers, all data, almost, well, came out positive, almost positive. Apart from one, of course, the main one, the non-farm payrolls themselves, which came out at 20K as against the expected 180K. Of course, that took a hit. The US dollar took a hit in that, of course. But we'll just have a look at what's happening with them right now. But yep, that's what data came out. Certainly, the unemployment rate itself improved by 0.1%, and of course, the average hourly earnings also improved. So I would suggest you take a look at the data that came out, of course, if you haven't seen it yet. So yep, keep your eyes on that one. But coming back to the Dow here, this is where it's going to be very interesting to watch, because looking at the cash index right now on Dow, we can see that it continues to slide lower, and to be honest, we are probably going to see this one now opening with a gap here, with the downside gap somewhere probably just slightly above this 100 EMA here, shown as the green line. So basically, the cash index is currently trading at around 25,250 level. So keep your eyes on that one. Certainly, let's see how this is going to perform further on. And of course, if this continues to slide further down today, now this is what we could do. What we could target initially is, of course, this 200 EMA here, shown as the black line, which is approximately around the 25,050 zone, maybe just a few points lower, but around that area. So the 25,050 could be that next potential target to watch for. But of course, as you probably understand, is slightly below that we do have the psychological 25,000 level. So also keep your eyes on down. But for now, of course, judging by the picture that we're seeing here right now on the cash index, and of course the picture that we saw yesterday, I mean, we are still bearish on this one, and we could see a test of the 25,000 level maybe today even, but if it's not today, then maybe this is something for next week. But again, the index seems to be moving in the southern direction. In terms of the upside, well, in order for us to, let's say, to consider higher levels again, we would like to see initially a push above the 25,800 level, and only then we will kind of target higher areas. But for now, it seems that the upside could be slightly off the table, guys. Jumping into WTI, now this one is a very interesting one because it's currently testing its 200 EMA. Certainly did have a bit of an undershoot here, managed to reach its S3, today's S3, which was around the 54.78, something like that. But the main thing is to watch here is, of course, this 55 level. Now, very interesting. It will be very interesting to see where this index is going to close. Is it going to close below the 55? Because you can see that the 55 acted as a very good area of support back here on the 26th of February. So basically, it's going to be very interesting, because if this is going to close below this, then yep, we could expect further declines next week, maybe even going all the way towards the 54.20 or even lower. For now, we're just going to go step by step, but the main thing is to watch the 55 level here. If this decides to reverse back up here, now for us, let's say, to get let's say start looking at slightly higher levels, we would like to see a nice good push back above the 55.70. Now that said, even if it gets above the 55.70, we do have this little tentative downside resistance line running from the high of the 1st of March. Now I'm not saying that this is something that could really hold down the price acceleration, but still something to watch out for, guys, in case, like I said, we see this this commodity traveling back above the 55.70 level. So for now, certainly this is looking more bearish than bullish, but again, let's see how this day is going to close, and if we're actually going to see a close below the 55 level. Jumping into euro dollar, now this is very, very interesting, and euro dollar managed to reverse from these lows. Now I was talking about this one this morning, and and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on the pivot and on this area here around the 112.15. Basically, you can see that it managed to push back above it. It's now currently near its pivot, which is around the 112.30 level. So 1.1230. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on that. But again, for us to get more comfortable with higher levels, we would like to see this one traveling back above the 1.1250, and because this level here previously acted as a very good area of support, so now of course it will take that important role of resistance. So, and if we see a nice good push back above the 1.1250, now this is where it could become a little bit more exciting for the bulls, and it could kind of give them another chance to push the pair back up here again. But again, we're not going to kind of aim too high. We're just going to go step by step. And of course, if we do see a nice good push back above the 112.50, the next area that we're going to be targeting is around the 1.1290 or even the 1.1325. So for now, we're just going to go, like I said, move slowly on this one. But again, the most important one for today, probably for us, is going to be the 1.1215, because the 1.1215 marks the lowest point, is the lowest point of November last year. So basically, if it's going to get back above it and stays above that, then this of course gives the bulls a bit of hope to see that maybe this one traveling back up again. But again, let's see how it plays out. In terms of the downside, the 1.1215, that's where we're going to be keeping a close eye on the downside. A nice good drop below that could confirm a forthcoming lower low, and this is when we will aim for much lower levels. But for now guys, let's see how this day is going to continue trading. USDJPY, now again, this was very interesting because it managed to travel lower. I was covering this one as well in my video today. Basically, I was telling you guys to keep an eye on this upside support line. So in a way, even though it could be a bit of a tentative one, but you can see that we had a perfect hit of that line, which also is not far from this, which coincides here with this 200 EMA. So basically, this is going to be very, very interesting to watch, and especially how this day is going to end up and where it's going to end up going, because for now you can see that the pair is already kind of testing its it already tested its S3. It's currently sitting next to its S3, today's S3, which is, to be honest, a bit of an oversold sign, and in a way we could see this one probably ending the day somewhere around here. Now if this one gets back above, let's say, the 111.20 zone, now of course this could spark some hope in the eyes of the bulls, and we could see this one traveling further up here, and we could then target the 111.45 or even above that. But for now guys, this is where the pair is. It's currently sitting next to its S3, which is approximately around the 110.90 level. But if this decides to travel further down and breaks this upside support line and drops below the 200 EMA, for us to get comfortable with lower levels now, in this, at least in the near term, we would like to see a nice good drop below the 110.63, 65 area, approximately there, and only then we will target lower levels. For now, we're going to remain neutral and continue observing, and we'll just continue watching where this pair is going to end the week. Last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's USDCAD. Now this is a very tricky one. At one point, the US dollar is kind of, you can see it's getting hit, but at the same time, the Canadian dollar still is slightly on the weaker side, and you can see that initially the reaction was here when the NFPs came out. It dropped lower, it broke some key support areas, especially this 134.25 level that I was talking about in one of my videos, or to be more precise, in today's video this morning. I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this 134.25. A nice drop below that could potentially lead towards further declines, but to be honest, looking at this picture right now, yes, we did have a nice push lower. The pair managed to reach its S2, which is around the 133.90 level, from which it rebounded and moved back towards this 134.25 level. Now again, the big question here is, are we going to actually stay above that? And if we do see the pair staying above this, then, well, there could be a chance for this one to travel back up here, but to be honest, in this situation right now, in order for us, let's say, to start examining higher levels, we would like to see a nice good clear break here above the 134.65 level, and only then we will target slightly higher areas, the 134, or I should actually round it up towards the 135 level. The 135, we will target that one only if we see a break above the 134.65 level. For now, you can see that this is where the pair is balancing around. If this decides to travel further down, well, I mean, we could see a bit of correction here, maybe actually going into next week. We could see this one correcting slightly lower. But again, let's not overcomplicate things here yet. Let's see where this pair is going to end up today, and let's see if it actually manages to travel lower, if it manages to retest this S2, which is around the 133.90, and if it drops below this low here, below the 133.90, then yep, we will start targeting slightly lower areas, like for example this 50 EMA shown here as the red line, or even actually the support area, this strong support area between the 133.30 and the 133.15. So this kind of 15 pip range here. So you can see that how well it played out last time as resistance, and this is where you can see that this little hold up occurred before the pair started moving higher again. So that's why we're going to be targeting this little area again, only if we see a drop below the let's put it that way, below today's lows, which were around the 133.90. If we see a drop below that, then yep, we will start targeting slightly lower areas. But with the downside, we will be very cautious because, like I said, still the Canadian dollar could be slightly on the weaker side. But let's wait for next week and see how this is going to perform then. But for now guys, we're going to be slightly more on the neutral side on this one and just continue observing some of the key areas of support and resistance. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you want to join me on Monday at my Traders Espresso, and that's as always 7 o'clock GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful evening and weekend, and for those who are finished for today, yep, enjoy the rest of your time. For those who are still trading, well, be careful, and yep, keep an eye on the price action as always guys. I'll see you later. Bye bye.